Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall!
Welcome in to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, the most electrifying show right here. 21.6 has in its lineup, of course, Tim and Tom, the two. So we're talking about the Santos Agency Health Markets right down on Green Street and Tom's Productions. You think it, he'll ink it, man. This guy can do it all. Guys, welcome in. A lot going. No, not really.
Oh my God. I missed more than I thought. What's happening?
What's happening right now? So this Sunday is the All-In pay-per-view in London, Wembley Stadium, which was like a week ago for AEW. They finally started announcing some matches and stuff. One of the matches is our favorite, the GOAT, Jericho.
I thought you were talking about CM Punk.
Really? You always have to dig. Always have to dig. The man that shall be nameless on my show.
That came in the first match.
I'm sorry, our show, but
Record.
that was like what?
I
think
Ken's
Ken's
off the rails now. Tom's all discombobulated.
Yeah, Ken's got the time.
That's it for this week, folks.
I'm done. I'm walking out. It's bullshit. Pardon my language. So we'll have Chris Jericho, which I'm kind of shocked that they're doing him against Osprey, Will Osprey, who is he is an international superstar.
Chris Jericho.
Well, Jericho's one of the GOATs.
Yes.
But yeah, Osprey is the up and coming talent, the future of the business. I see. He's got the talent, the charisma. He's the total package. And for me, is like I would have booked him and Omega with their phenomenal matches that they had at New Japan that really got them on the radar, or Osprey on the radar for other people.
Yeah.
But I mean, it should be a good match. I know Jericho's up there in his age. He still does perform decent matches. And that's kind of what AEW does. They just give you kind of good matchups.
Sure, like a dream match.
In a
we
way,
haven't seen that. We haven't seen Chris Jericho and Osprey.
And the way how they first were doing it, it looked like it was going to be Jericho versus Sting because they never wrestled each other. And what, Jericho's 30 plus years, Sting's 4 decades now?
Yeah,
they've never wrestled each other. So I mean, that was kind of surreal. Where it's like, are they ever even going to do it? Because Sting's clock is ticking.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially one-on-one matches. And with him and Jericho, that would be a safe match. He doesn't have to do the high spots. And Jericho could kind of carry him with that.
Yeah.
But,
so why do you think they're going this direction and not with something that they know would be a banger of a match with Kenny Omega and Osprey? Why are they doing?
Because they have other stuff set up where they got the Young Bucks are in there. I think
Nelly.
That's the triple.
What's up, fellas? Nice you
hey,
guys are
Nelson, how you
doing?
Hey, Nelson.
Hey,
yeah, so I think
beautiful little baby, right?
Oh yeah, congrats on that. I don't know if I've congratulations you yet.
Yeah, I don't have anyone. I don't see any Facebook feeds anymore for anyone.
Yeah,
I get a bunch of spam and
yeah, stop watching.
Well, that's parakeets.
Yeah. Stop watching porn on your phone.
I don't watch porn. I just watch wrestling. Damn it.
Whatever.
Okay.
The wrestling.
What are you doing in there, Dad? Watching wrestling. Leave me alone.
You watching that Trish match again?
Yeah.
On repeat, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, All In is so just today though, Tony Khan says that there's going to be some changes to the card.
That's more than likely because I think Ray Phoenix is injured or something's up with him. Cash Wheeler had his incident with the gun.
Yes. So I wasn't sure if it was a real video that I saw or if it was someone just pretending like this is what happened. But he was like waving a gun at someone in like a road rage incident just like a couple weeks ago or something like that?
It was actually, I thought it was a month ago.
Yeah, maybe it was something.
And it was kind of quiet, and then it wasn't like really brought up until like last week or two.
All right, so they got 80,000 plus tickets sold.
Right, and that was even before like they had a match announced.
So now I'm not taking a dig, but I saw on social media today that Tony Khan's verbiage is that there'll be 80,000 people in attendance, but they were indicating that that's not necessarily the amount of tickets that were sold.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I
Oh, I know. From what
who cares? Really?
I heard, they surpassed SummerSlam '92 when it was Brett and Bulldog main event, for the largest event at Wembley Stadium. But like I said before in previous shows, AEW is bigger in Europe because of their time slot with their Dynamite and Collision and Rampage and all that stuff.
Do you think that there's some ticket sharking going on though? Because like whenever anything goes on sale, you get the scalpers
right
that purchase hundreds of tickets and then they.
I don't know how England does it, what their laws are with that. Because like kind of funny to me when I was a kid, we're go to Indiana Pacers game, and there's scalpers out there like, and it's legal. Well, it was legal at the time. I don't know if it still is in Indiana. But like, because I was like shocked because I go to Chicago, like that's illegal. Like you're in big trouble if you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really sure what England's laws are on the scalping and stuff, or if they sold it to like a secondhand marketplace.
Yeah, I hate that.
Right.
You get like a $60 ticket, someo's selling for $300 or whatever, and it's like, oh man, that sucks.
Bull crap.
It is. It is. One time, just to kind of go, Sally, she got me and Gabe Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell was at in Chicago.
Right, that you were saying that before you were supposed to go.
And she bought off instead of Ticketmaster, it was Ticket Faster.
Yeah, just one word, one letter.
And you know, I guess what they do with that type of site is they sell a ticket, or they sell the concept of you having a ticket, possibly.
Allegedly.
Yes. So a ticket needs to be made available, right? So you may or may not receive a ticket. So you purchase it, and then you should be emailed the ticket
within 48 hours.
Within 48 hours at the start of the event. That should be, if not exactly what you've purchased, something similar or better in value. Like, let's say you purchased a $200 ticket and there was a $250 space ahead. You might get a better seat.
Okay.
In this case, though, we got nothing.
Right.
They just refunded our money and like SOL.
You didn't have to go through hoops or anything to get your money back?
We had to contact them to get the money back, but it was anyways, I don't know. I don't know if they have anything like that going on. Same thing here though, like WrestleMania sold 90,000 plus tickets already. Just being on sale for like a week.
Because I think the Cubs used to do that too, where they'd sell it to their secondhand marketplace.
Yeah,
buy
that's kind of crap if they count it like that.
I don't know if I want to say it was StubHub, allegedly StubHub. I gotta say the word allegedly, otherwise we get sued. Or can't get sued. We don't get sued. Allegedly. The keywords I learned from allegedly and according to sources, and you don't have to name the sources.
So what else is happening on All In though?
So All In, let's go through the card. So it's probably going to start with the Ring of Honor tag team title match. Adam Cole's never had it, that belt while he was there.
So wait, he's wrestling twice then?
Him and MJF are wrestling twice. They're wrestling first
together
in a tag team match against Aussie Open, who is part of like the Will Ospreay when they were like the 3-man team that came in for some shows. They're a really good tag team. They're one of those that I could see them they're like the tag team of the future, next generation. I could see when their contracts are up, WWE going after those guys. And they might not even go to NXT. They might go straight to main roster. And then the man that shall be nameless for the Real World Championship against Samoa Joe, which he did a tribute last Saturday on Collision, dressing up in all gold as a tribute to Edge when he dressed up as him and Christian. The Los Quisadores or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he did it as a tribute to Edge because Edge is done with, pretty much done with WWE.
Yeah.
And that was his last match in Toronto.
Yeah.
So and we'll touch on Edge after this. Coffin match is Darby Allin and Steen versus Swerve Strickland and AR Fox. What was interesting with this whole feud is they were going to AR Fox's wrestling school and getting like fan footage kind of stuff to broadcast to kind of bring that interaction. And I would like to see more wrestlers start doing it to help the independent promotions and the smaller stuff. Just get more interest in that, because I don't even think they were announced. They just showed up, and like the bands there were like awesome. Like imagine if like Sting showed up at the VFW hall we were at, and there's what, like 100, maybe 50 to 100 people there. It's like you're not going to get that kind of
right
without spending big bucks. Stupid thing. Yeah, then we got Jericho Osprey, which I think could be match of the night. It'll probably be the show stealing match. Then we got the triple tag team match where it's Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi versus, man, I can't even say his name, Takashita, Switchblade Jay White, Takashita. That's a good one. We'll go with Takashita, Switchblade, and Jay White and Juice Robinson. That'll be your traditional high flying, lots of super kick tag team match. So that's why Omega's not going against Osprey, because they needed a third man for that. The Stadium Stampede is where they're going to try to hook you in with the 3 surprise guests with the Blackpool Combat Club that consists of Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Utah, and then they're going against Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Lucha Brothers. So that match, it's all about who are the 3 mystery guys. Is it guys that are off their WWE contract, which I could see them doing that just to try to get some more names in. And what they're doing now with their programs, since they're on Wednesday night for 2 hours, Friday night for 1 hour, Collision for another 2 hours. They're trying to build up their roster with better talent to get that live stream, or not the live stream, but like to get on a streaming service like Max. FTR versus Young Bucks. I think this is their 3rd match against each other in the history of the company. So you got probably their 2 best tag teams going at it, which will be an entertaining match, but another super kick fest.
Yeah.
And then near close call pins and
the
drama, because I think FTR on the first show of Collision like wrestled an hour. Their 2 out of 3 falls match. And like FTR, they're like probably one of the best tag teams out there. There's an old school kind of fashion, like the Brain Busters, Heart Foundation-esque. They just don't have charisma. That's the only thing that they lack.
That was their problem in WWE.
WWE, right? They lacked charisma. And I think if they were in a faction in WWE, that would have helped them. Or have a mouthpiece.
But what do you want? Do you want charisma or you want wrestling? I mean, I
want both. That's why we get it with the GOAT.
Well, so you have, I mean, times have changed, right?
Right.
In every sport.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not the attitude era, and not even in America. I mean, at that point, maybe in America, you know, people were excited because he was beating up his boss. You're like, yay.
Yep.
But now we're in the era of, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What'd you do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to apologize right now. You know what I mean? So at this point, to revitalize, are we looking for good mic presentation, or are we looking for a storyline and being able to wrestle?
So I go back and forth sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just attempting to watch some. I was trying to watch Collision on Saturday night. I caught that, and then I was watching Raw, and there was, you know, some of the backstage stuff is just can be so corny sometimes too. Like the acting is just like
really bad.
And then I like think back in the day when they would just cut a promo like, you know, I'm going to go out to the ring and I'm going to kick your ass, whoever you are, right? And it's pre-recorded, it's all done, and then they go out there and that's the match that's happening. Sometimes all the drama and all the charisma or whatever they're trying to accomplish, like really just takes away from the show. And I'm like, I'm not interested in some of this stuff. I really just want to see some good wrestling.
Right.
But if you're going to give them the mic and give them the airtime, then I want that charisma to be there. And unfortunately, I think that both miss the mark more often now by giving people airtime that aren't really like appealing. It's just like, I don't really care what you have to say.
Well, I think at times they do that.
It's not resonated with me.
They put you in a sink or swim position with some of the talent. Go, okay, like Ronda Rousey, for example, she could not talk on the mic at all.
Right.
And whenever she talked, it was very quick, it was very low, and like
very
couldn't understand. Yeah. Like, and she's like, "Oh, I have to say this line, I have to say that line," kind of thing. And that's where it's like, I really wish more of these wrestlers would take acting school.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a live performance. It is entertainment. I mean, and it's like LA Knight, for example, actually went into acting and did some TV shows and other stuff. So he's like one of their best talkers right now.
Yeah.
Even though like when he went with Miz, was it last Monday or 2 Mondays ago? Had Miz kind of got him.
Yeah.
He fumbled a little bit there, but for the most part, like he's got it.
Yeah.
And he's your hot hand right now that you got to ride. You had it with Sami Zayn back earlier in the year.
Yep.
You gave the fans him the tag team championship at WrestleMania. And where's he now? Do you have any interest in Sami anymore?
No.
And his storyline, there's no interest anymore.
Right.
It just fizzled out. And that's why I'm kind of worried with LA Knight. They'll probably put it in like give him a US championship or something.
Yeah.
Like, here, fans, you're happy here. Here's your champion. And he's got such a short window now.
Yeah.
Because he's what, 44?
Yeah, 44,
43, 44,
somewhere
something in that area, or he's got this very short window.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was 34, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
But and the last two matches,
Ric Flair's 310.
but he can talk still. He can still entertain you in that way. Just
but if you go back to when he was young, back at Georgia Championship Wrestling, it was just yelling.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of screaming,
spitting. So I think I'm with you on this too. I would, but once you start getting some momentum, right, then you get the confidence and the mic, and I think that comes. But I think we're trying to put the mic and the confidence before the wins. I want to see. Does everyone have to go? The full 10 minutes? No. Give me a 4-minute match. You do a couple quick good moves that make me go, oh man, who was that? That was cool. In and out, bing.
And that's why I like AEW at times, because you get this new talent that you've never seen before from AAA, New Japan, that you may not ever care to watch before. But okay, you put a match with Jericho or like Pac or someone, it's like, oh, that guy's kind of interesting now. Like when Jericho was Ring of Honor champion and he's bringing all the past former Ring of Honor champions to wrestle, that was kind of cool, because like I didn't know about Dalton Castle at all. And he's the guy with the Peacock stuff and the fanboys, where it's corny as hell. It's like the old Liberace thing that he's doing, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And he's just got the personality where you like want to laugh at him. He's like the old Nintendo video game character is what he reminds me of.
Right. I mean, the best thing, so I go back to Goldberg. The best thing they ever did was keep the mic out of that guy's hands.
And just go spear, jackknife, done. Same with Warrior.
Come out and blow the smoke. And he didn't say a word.
Right.
And then everybody started saying, "Who's next?" Right.
All right.
Yep.
And all he would do, I mean,
bash his head against the wall before coming in.
Right. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. So I like that, and I think you can go back to the guy guy behind you. You go back to The Rock when he was rocking.
That was horrible.
Horrible. Right, just horrible. Then he got some wins, and people started, Then he started, ad-libbing, and people were like, "Wait, this guy's pretty damn good."
Yep.
And now look at him. Right now he's, giving millions of dollars to the Screen Actors Guild to, keep striking.
And that was the thing back in the Attitude Era. They had more free reign with their promos and their shoots and stuff like that. And now it's like, no, you have to say this, you have to say that.
Right. So with that, right, the Endeavor merger happens in the next couple of weeks. The paperwork's final or whatever, right? So what I've always been reading is that a lot of people in the WWE worried about their jobs. And when I say that, I mean behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
right.
definitely. Because whenever you have a merger, you have 2 HR departments.
Yep.
Well, we don't need 2 HR departments.
We got 2
anymore.
travel teams, whatever the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
everybody's like, "Ooh," you know. But if you're, you know, so some of the writers, some of the, you know, the talent people are also a little bit worried. And if you take a look at the UFC, I mean, their big thing is the weigh off, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
They kind
Right.
of got that from WWE.
Yeah. And then it's get in the ring and go after it.
Yeah.
Right. So it, you know, that's why I think the UFC works, because you have a little bit of that flair
Right.
a couple days before the fight or hours before the fight.
Tension.
The tension builds, and you're like, I gotta watch this. This
Yeah.
is good. You know,
Yeah.
Next thing you know, somebody roundhouse kicks somebody or a knee, and they're out
Yeah.
in 38 seconds or whatever.
Mhm.
But I, you know, I'm interested in the talent. I want to see good wrestling and not flippy floppy wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I come after it. Let's get it, sell it, and then get out. And then people are going, wait, I want to hear from that guy.
And you
Yeah.
get that with both promotions, and you're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of the spots getting set up.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, like even WWE, like when they were doing it at some of the pay-per-views, it's like,
Oh, that's weird that they would just put a table like that and then completely ignore that for now. Someone's obviously going to, or put a ladder there. Like it's weird that they pulled a ladder out there and propped it up against the side there and then did nothing with
And
it.
did nothing. Right.
You know what? So you talked about The Rock and Stone Cold and like the ad-libbing and the Attitude Era.
Mhm.
Is there like a point in time that we can pinpoint where part of the reason why they had the freedom and why they were so good was because of the freedom that they were given? Like you could say a lot of outlandish stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was race things, there was sexual things. Like it was really like there wasn't a lot of rules.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
from what Vince McMahon himself was doing on promos and
Ugh.
and the degrading of women and each other and like the bra and panty matches
Yeah.
and
puppies.
all that stuff, right? So what point between 1998 and 2018, that 20 years,
Mhm.
was the time that we decided that that was no longer
When they
going to be
became
welcomed?
a public trading company. And it's,
So
then
that's
sponsorships.
that is like that's the reason why we see what we see now, is because everything has to be so scripted, because you
Right.
can't rub anybody too much the wrong way, because then you're talking sponsorship
Right.
dollars, you're talking stock
Right.
market shit
Yeah.
falling and things like that. You don't want to piss off any of your sponsors or
Right.
the people that are watching. Right. So you have to kind of reel it in and be scripted. And I think what we find in a lot of things, and wrestlers in particular, when they're given that freedom to be a little bit more of themselves, Dominic Mysterio,
Right.
for example,
Well-
completely packaged in a bubble and like, oh, you're Ray's son, and you're almost like Rocky Maivia when he first came. Give him a little freedom. This is probably more in line with the person that he actually is.
Yeah.
And he's got the crowd behind him.
All right.
LA Knight, Max Dupree,
Didn't work.
didn't work whatsoever.
Muhammad Ali.
Mhm.
You go into boxing,
Right.
you know, and what's
This is a wrestling show, Kent.
well, I understand, but it's the same build,
He was in WrestleMania 1, wasn't
You know what? Yeah.
right?
Probably in the Hall of Fame.
So you take a look at that, and you know, it's that build to your
Mhm.
point, and then it's like, okay, we trust you enough to give you a little freedom.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do.
Yep.
You know, and then that's that creative. You go into Hollywood, right? And Will Ferrell and what's the guy in Wedding Crashers?
Vince Vaughn.
Vince
Yeah,
Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. They got no lines. They ad lib everything,
Mhm.
and people are like,
Yeah.
it's just hilarious.
Uh-huh.
You got to
And
be
you can
Robin
sense
Williams
that
too,
too,
isn't he?
because their movies, they're essentially playing the same character.
yeah,
Right.
right.
In like every movie.
Typecasted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. But
Great as a co-star, not the star.
right, right. So I think it is that you have to build wins. You got to get some momentum built on the mat in the ring before that charisma starts to show.
Mhm.
Right. That's probably why you don't like whatever his name is
Yeah.
that we're not allowed to say on this show, because he started jibber jabbering
Mhm.
before he earned it.
Right.
Mhm.
And then I still don't understand how he was ever champion.
Because he was hot at the time.
At the time,
It was
I
the
know.
pipe bomb.
But he's a tiny little fella.
he's not intimidating.
No, I know.
Not
And it's like here's a 47-year-old man beating all these guys that
Right.
have been doing this for years now and not taking breaks, and
I don't know.
that pissed me off.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to build a talent, and you're just a hypocrite everywhere you do. So the final two matches for All In is the women's fatal 4-way kind of championship match.
That's got Soraya in it, and Tony Storm, and Britt Baker,
Yep.
and then somebody that I don't know.
Sheeta's the champion.
But the
Going-
champion,
right.
of course, the champion. I don't know. I know the rest of them.
I mean, for this one,
Sheeta.
Sheeta.
Man, there's a lot of shit on AEW.
You're Kara Sheeta. That's why they're number 2. But here it's like Sheeta's hometown or Soraya's hometown, and she has to win it. I mean, for everything she's been through in her life with
She has to?
and coming back. I mean, that's the part that
I don't think she has to.
I think she has to.
What has she been through in her life?
No, she had the neck trauma. She had
Okay.
the porn video.
I mean, that's not going through something.
That's after you got the neck.
Wow. And she'll never
Talk
be
about disrespect. People, you know what? People give Medusa a hard time for dropping the women's title in the trash.
Right.
You've seen what
Yeah.
Paige had done to the women's title, and she should
That's
be
why
champion.
everyone wants it.
Money shot.
And then the final match will
Good shot.
be the guys who probably start the show, MJF versus Adam Cole for the championship.
You think they start with that one, and what they do a tag match?
I think they do the
And-
tag match first, and then
Oh, okay,
and then
they
end
come
it,
back for
and
the
then come back for a
championship.
championship at the very end.
Adam Cole.
I think they'll
wins.
probably do some tension during the tag team match,
Oh,
Sure.
and then build
yeah.
up, and then I think Adam Cole's probably going to stab MJF in the back because he gave him that hug. They did an NXT.
You don't think they win the tag team championships and then go in, and then also Adam Cole wins the champion? Like now they're stuck together because
Mhm.
they're tag champions.
Oh,
And then Adam Cole
yeah.
beats them for the
There.
championship, and now they basically just swap that
Right.
title, but they're still a champion team together.
I like that angle.
The drama and storyline telling. There
Yeah,
you go,
There
Tim.
you go. There you go.
Feel free to pay us. We'll write better
If
stories.
that's what happens, you heard it here first.
Wow, this is a record 26 minutes of AEW talk. I
Yeah.
am excited
is
about
good.
this. This is phenomenal.
It's only been 2 years, so it's like 26 minutes. I think that's a total.
But I
of
mean,
about
yeah, and we'll touch
31
back.
minutes.
Like last week, they had their Texas Chainsaw Massacre match, in which like it's like of all the times you watch it and tune in, I'm like, crap. He's texting me.
Yeah, so here I am. Finally, I'm like, you know what?
Have a
nothing
Wednesday night
else is
free,
on.
and
Wednesday, I see Dynamite. My 600-pound life isn't on at the moment, so like, you know what? Let me go ahead and tune in. And then first thing I see, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's like a red screen almost, or
All right.
like in the back or whatever. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot of blood going
Yeah.
on. And I'm like, wait, that's Jeff Jarrett.
Yep.
And Jeff Hardy, and there's Matt Hardy, and there's Jay Lethal, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, is this like an old TNA?
match.
Because I'm like, what the heck's going on here? You can go out there and proceeds to be more and more fake blood, not
Right.
even real blood.
Right.
All right, they're not even cutting; they're just fake blood.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, here comes Leatherface wielding a fake chainsaw and everything. And I couldn't help but go back, and I didn't have to say it. It was already on
Right.
Twitter. Like, hey, keep that same energy like when the zombies came to
Right.
WWE, because everyone was like, Chris Jericho
Right.
himself posted, well, that put wrestling back
Like
30
30
years.
Right.
And here they're doing the same thing for a paycheck.
For a paycheck, yeah.
Right.
It's all about the sponsorship dollars. WCW did it with RoboCop.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember that one at
Yep.
all.
That was brought up a bunch of times
Yeah.
through Sting and RoboCop.
And WWE did it. What was it, last year or 2 years ago with Rock's movie? Was it Red Notice? Where he had to find like the golden egg, and
Oh, yep.
they had to do that. And it's like it's all. You get a big sponsor, like we said before. You get the big sponsor, you find something.
Yep.
And that's kind of what they're
Oh, you
forced
got
to do.
100,000 to give me? We can make a match, Mountain Dew matches,
Right,
whatever.
Pitch Black or whatever.
all that kind of stuff. So,
But in their defense, though, they did give it to the wildfires in Maui.
right,
Par-
but
pro-
but
partial.
that's just timing.
Right.
If the wildfires weren't going on, they were still going to have the match.
More likely.
this was an excuse. Like, oh, well, we did it so we can send the money.
Mhm.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Nice gesture.
And that's where, for me, it's like Jay Lethal is one of my favorite wrestlers. And when he was back in TNA, when he was Black Machismo was his gimmick,
Yep.
talking like Macho Man.
Oh yeah.
And like one of my favorite ones was when he was acting like Ric Flair, and you couldn't tell the difference between him and Rick if you were listening to it because they both sounded exactly
That's
the
crazy.
same. But it's like he is super talented, and I don't understand why he's never gotten that next level push.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control. If you can take it, all about your stand. If you can play it, it's all about pace. Who's gonna make it? I am the game, you don't wanna play me. I am control, the way you can shake me.
Nice. All right. Tonight, the best of, the worst of, right here. Let me tell you something, brother. This is the game. All right. Listen, this is tricky. The best of the most hated champions of all time. The worst would be the worst heel champion, where they weren't really a heel, but they were meant to play a heel. So it didn't really work out. And people were like, actually, I like them, even though they were supposed to be a heel. So the most hated champion of all time, just on the regular, and then the heel that didn't quite work out would be the worst. What do you got?
Well, I'd say probably the greatest heel was probably the Sheik, Iron Sheik.
Oh,
A lot of people hated him,
You're going
especially had the Iran tensions, and
Iranian flag
then
flip around.
when we were kind of older kids, it would have been probably Sergeant Slaughter, where he just turned his back on USA, and with the Iraqi War, Desert Storm going on, with the rumors of WrestleMania being bombed.
They had to
Them going to be
relocate.
there to relocate.
Right. All right. So what about the heel, the person that was supposed to be a heel and just didn't work out? The fans ended up loving him.
It's whoever cashes in Money in the Bank usually.
Yeah.
Because they just love someone doing that.
These are like really good questions, actually.
They are.
Thanks for putting us on the spot.
So from a most hated champion, there's the ones that resonate, like because of what was happening, like Sergeant Slaughter being an Iraqi sympathizer or whatever during Desert Storm, right? Like, of course, that was probably true hatred. There was like his life was being threatened and all that kind of stuff, right? From just like a fan perspective, like a wrestling hate, I hate to say it, but when The Miz won the championship, he definitely was not like the
Right. The guy.
There's the Miz girl, right?
Yeah.
She's like pouting, like that was an overwhelming feeling by a bunch of people. Like he didn't deserve it. Boy, beat Randy Orton, cashed in Money in the Bank.
Yep.
But Roman Reigns also had been just booed to death everywhere he was going.
Yeah.
And it took like his heel turn, which is interesting that he had to become like the heel to be loved.
Right.
So he had to be bad to be good for people to actually, because at that point it's like he's not being shoved down their throat anymore. Like, all right, he's kind of a jerk. It's cool to like him because he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm thinking Edge too when he cashed in on Cena, because you had all the people that like couldn't stand Cena.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the bad guy or whatever, but everyone kind of loved the rated R superstar who's supposed to be the bad guy against your beloved superhero.
Yeah.
So top 10 most hated champions. All right. So I had to reference that to kind of take a look here. And they have, so I don't know who I won't give them a shout out because I don't know who they are really, but they have number 10, Chris Jericho, being a hated world heavyweight champion the night that he beat top 10 most.
Whoa. Hey, first show, Tom?
I had it down
because of who he beat to become the undisputed champion, beating The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. It's like no one expected him to do it. They were like, they didn't want that to happen.
because was it Kurt Angle, the other guy?
I believe so. And they got The Miz in at number 9, which I'm surprised he's that far down. Edge, number 8. They got Sergeant Slaughter, number 7.
Yeah,
So we mentioned him. John Cena, number 6. Most hated. Triple H, number 5. John JBL.
Okay.
Number 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a
Is there one I could think of would be Shawn Michaels in Montreal.
Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, that goes way back.
Mm.
Oops, what happened here?
What is that, 80 something?
No,
No,
that was
that
2000s.
was late. That was late 2000s.
Oh, maybe I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the wrong person.
Probably
And
his dad.
then Jinder Mahal being number
Never,
2.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a shock with one of the guys from 3-Man Band.
And then Roman Reigns, number 1 most hated heavyweight champion of all time.
See, I would go. When I thought about most hated, I thought about superstar Billy Graham. People,
Ahead of his time.
what?
He was ahead of his
Yeah,
time.
that's why people didn't like him, right? Because the Hulkster took everything from him, and
Pretty much.
everybody loved it
Yeah.
at
Right.
that point. Like, whoa, right?
Even the feather boa.
Yeah, yeah.
And the dye beard.
And then the heel, there was supposed to be a heel, and people end up loving. There's 2, Triple H,
Mhm.
right? Because now everybody loves him,
Yeah.
and it was like he was supposed to be the heel, and Kurt Angle.
Oh, I love Kurt
I
Angle.
mean, an argument could be made for Stone Cold being that
Right.
person.
Oh, when he
So
turned
he was
corporate.
supposed to be
Yeah.
the heel, right? And Bret Hart
All right.
is the face, and Bret couldn't understand why everyone was siding with this guy who's supposed to be the heel.
Right.
And that was the big
Yeah.
flip, right?
Right. The double turn.
The double turn.
Double turn.
It
Yeah.
wasn't for a championship though.
Yeah, but it was
It eventually turned into championship. They
For
both were
both, yeah.
champions. Yeah.
It's a shame that they never fought for the championship.
Right.
Yeah.
against
Because
each
it was
other.
Shawn Michaels for both of them.
right.
Right?
But
Right.
now, I mean, if it keeps going the way the way it's going, I mean, you got somebody holding a belt that Tom will never,
Acknowledge.
will not acknowledge. And a lot of people don't like that guy.
Hmm.
Yep, that's true.
I like him, but I'm just saying that there are people, Tom.
I'm mostly.
That's why those belts.
There's-
are
every-
the same.
there-
Everyone's
there's
got
few
an
people
opinion.
that
Everyone's
Tom
got a
doesn't
butthole.
as champion, and Seth Rollins is included in that as well.
Yeah,
That's who he was talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait,
Originally, I thought
Not the
about
Punk.
originally I thought it was the other guy, but
Yeah.
then when he was saying it, it's like he was talking about Rollins because
Yeah,
he doesn't
got
watch AEW.
got it.
Somebody he'll never vote for.
And speaking of Seth Rollins, he's got 2 fractured vertebrae in his back. We
Yep.
mentioned it before. That's why I thought he was going to lose
Wow.
to get that healed up
Yeah.
and take some time off.
Just
So-
to be fair, because we mentioned shit a couple times in AEW, I do
Yeah.
call Shinsuke Nakamura shit stain Nakamura. So there's shit in
A lot of
both
shit.
Man,
both areas. All right.
Shit
Do you think Shinsuke gets his finally wins? The
he's
championship?
been in such a
Hasn't he
round
been
for
the
last.
champion once?
He was a champion before, yeah.
briefly though, right? From
Yeah.
AJ Styles. Did he-
Yeah.
yeah. When he did like the heel turn on AJ, was
I
that
think it was around then. Yeah, he had a brief run.
or was it he was good, then AJ beat him for the championship, and then that's when he like did the nut punch to him, and then he turned on him.
I think AJ beat him first, and then they had like a rematch, and that's when he did the
That's when he did that. Got it.
by any means necessary.
Got it.
And for him, he's another guy that's at first, I mean, was it 2 months ago? It looked like he started jobbing out to guys.
Uh-huh.
And I think, like, and that's kind of been WWE's thing is they want to see how you react after jobbing out a few matches. Like if you're in the doghouse, is what they say, and then go from there. And then okay, you're going to do this. You're going to help this talent build up.
Mhm.
Now we'll reward you. So like when AJ Styles, I forget who was the wrestler that got injured on a tour, stepped up, and like went to that tour like the next day,
Mm-hmm.
completed it, and then they gave him the belt for a
Is it
decent
Kevin
rank.
Owens, maybe?
I don't remember who it was.
I know AJ won a belt off somebody at a non-televised, like a house show.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was it.
But they gave him, the reward for, okay, you've done this, you've shown that you're marketable, and one of those guys that didn't have to go to NXT. And
So speaking of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, do you know that their entrance music was supposed to be flip flopped?
oh, it was.
Could
I
you
don't know.
imagine? Would it even make sense for Shinsuke
No.
Nakamura to have that you don't want none?
Yeah.
That's AJ Styles.
Right.
Like I can't even picture it any
Right.
other way. And that AJ would have that like
Mhm.
now that was the coolest thing about Shinsuke though when he first came was his
Right.
music and the crowd just like going nuts with them. And
Right.
NXT, he had an awesome run at NXT.
Right.
His
And that's
call
kind of
out
what
just does
stinks is a
nothing.
lot of times, yeah, the NXT runs are great, and you can't wait to see the guy, and then they
Mhm.
come up, and it's like,
Finn Balor,
especially
another
when they change the character, it's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
Finn Balor, another one.
I
Like,
think
the Demon was awesome.
right?
And then when they tried to reintroduce him, I'm like, wait, you got that from Spirit Halloween store or something? It looks so cheap. It didn't even look like the same.
And I
It
think
looked
the issue
horrible.
that's been with Finn is just the injury plague he gets.
Yeah.
That's why he hasn't had a title really since.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so I think we answered the right
The game.
the game. So here's something that I came across, and we'll touch on this. So on Twitter says it's time for us to admit Trish Stratus has tarnished her legacy with this comeback. She's been awful. It's sad because she's one of our all-time favorites. The business has just passed her by. Do y'all agree, yes or no?
I don't think so.
So I watched that interaction or whatever
Yeah.
happened with Becky Lynch and
Yeah.
her. And
Her mic skills aren't the same.
the mic skills were bad.
Right.
Yeah. And they were chanting in French.
Right.
We don't effing care. That's what it translates to.
Mhm.
And she kept saying, "What? I don't understand what you're saying."
Yeah.
She's from there. So
Right.
she knew exactly what they were saying. They don't care.
Right.
I think that it's actually knocked Becky Lynch off of her game. I didn't
Mhm.
like what she had to say.
Right.
I think she looks weird. Like, I know she like lost weight, which is, I didn't think she had a lot of weight to lose.
Right.
She looks like super like skinny.
Right. There was a time where it looked like she gained some weight back,
Mhm.
and she's one of those. It's like, Becky, you got to eat.
Yeah. So
Like, you're not even intimidated.
their whole like dynamic right now, and even so because of how Becky looks, she's not intimidating looking.
Right.
She looks like to me like sickly almost. So like
Yeah.
I'm not buying what she's saying.
Right.
One of those things where you're giving her the mic to basically save the segment because Trish is dropping the ball.
Right.
And it's a little bit over the top and a little unbelievable
Mhm.
because Trish is dropping the ball and your rebuttal is just kind of
Right.
like blah, 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 blah. I don't care.
Right.
And then you got this third wheel, Trish's buddy, her partner,
Zoe Stark.
Zoe Stark, who I don't know anything about. I know
She was
from
from NXT.
And so you got this person who's basically like interjecting into the feud, probably to pick up where Trish isn't
Mhm.
able to wrestle like she used to,
Right.
or whatever the situation is. Maybe one of them's got a minor injury and they need to kind of have this
Right.
third wheel just to be there. Completely uninterested though in what's
And that's
happening.
kind of a storyline that went too long that
Mhm.
should have been completed at SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's what the comment thread is like.
Mhm.
This has gone on too long. It needs to be over at Payback at the next pay-per-view,
Mhm.
which they're going to be in a steel cage.
Right.
So I will be watching that to see what happens. That's her first.
That's
Trish's first steel cage.
I think that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks,
2
September
weeks.
2nd, Labor Day.
Oh, it is
weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Okay.
Yeah. So Trish's first time in
So
the
it's
steel
next
cage,
Saturday.
which is kind of unbelievable,
Right.
for her long career.
Well, and that though, but the women back in her day never got that opportunity to do those kind of matches.
right, they were in the mud and the jello
It was like
matches.
I want to say it was like her match with Mickie James at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago actually helped catapult the women's division, where that was, I think, at the time the longest
Mhm.
women's match at WrestleMania or even any pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then it started giving them more screen time, and that kind of faded for a few years until you had like the women's movement with the Bella Twins and like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky, Bailey recapturing that interest because
Mhm.
they're really great wrestlers.
So I guess to the point of the tweet, I don't think it's done anything for her other than she's obviously collecting like some nice paychecks,
yeah.
but it's not like she's not adding anything to her legacy as one of the best
And that's
women's
where
wrestlers
it's like
ever.
WWE's really hurting on women talent.
I don't like that they took a legend,
Mhm.
a babyface legend,
Right.
and then
The
turned
love.
her into a heel,
Right.
and then it's just not really believable.
Mhm.
She doesn't have the mic work, so I don't know. I have a Christmas movie with her in it, an autographed Christmas movie. I got it for Sally. If you're like the first 50 people to order one, and you got an autographed picture of her, I'm like, oh, I want the autographed picture. So we got one. I'm like, wait a second, you're in Christmas in a small town or whatever. So like, you're not a heel. You're not a bad person.
Right.
Speaking of that, like kind of like wrestler in a movie or whatever. Have you ever seen The Terrifier?
No.
So it's about Art the Clown or whatever. Very gruesome movie. I mean, it's just a slasher kind of movie. And then so I watched the first one. I'm like, man, this is hard to watch. And then the second one came on right after it. Well, I think it was Peacock had it, and I watched like the first like 2 minutes and opening credits. It says like starring Chris Jericho. I'm like, Chris Jericho's in this?
Watch the second one, didn't you?
So I watched the second one because I want to see Jericho.
Was
And
it?
like, okay. The second one is actually better than the first one. Like the characters were more likable and more storytelling with that. Do you know when Jericho finally appears in it?
Where? When?
You want to know? Because you probably won't watch it.
I won't watch it.
After the first set of credits.
Really?
At the end of the movie. The first set of credits, I'm like, where did I miss Chris Jericho? Do like a YouTube clip of like Chris Jericho and Terrifier 2, and then like they show a scene. I'm like, I haven't seen the scene yet. It's like midway through the second credits.
That's awesome.
Like I watched this whole damn movie to see Chris Jericho.
That's great.
That movie,
And he made a bunch of money for being in there.
Probably. I think it was 2022 is when it came out.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I was just like, what is this?
I don't know what made me think of this, but Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
It's a young Undertaker was one of the villains.
Is that
and
right?
It always like kind of, being a kid when all this came out, I'm like, wait a second. How can the Undertaker be acting in this movie with Hulk Hogan when they're enemies, right?
I don't even know. Was he just beginning in WWE at the time?
He might have maybe not even been.
He might not have been there yet.
But
I thought I want to say Suburban Commando came out in 91.
Let's see right here.
And I think The Undertaker came, was it 91 Survivor Series or 92?
Yeah, you're good. October 4th, 1991.
No, I just have useless facts.
Yeah, The Undertaker. He was Hutch. That's his name. Anyways. All right. So the other thing, so we were talking about jobbing out, right?
Yeah.
Akira Ozawa.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Raw. First win in singles action on Monday Night Raw in 6 years.
Wow.
And it's over The Miz.
Yep.
And The Miz is 1-33 for 2023. He's only won one match the entire year.
So that's where WWE tests you to see where you're patient.
Because look at run here or what?
Well, that happened to Seth Rollins a year ago.
I suppose
he was losing a bunch of times, and then they gave him the first world championship.
Do you think? All right, so he's lost 33 out of 34 matches, and he's got LA Knight coming up,
right?
But they're not gonna put the Miz over LA Knight.
The only way they do it is if Miz gets another lackey.
Yeah.
What he's had a history of doing.
Sure. Because it's like, so they've mentioned it too. Like, man, like he's just not winning matches. What the hell's going on? So it's like setting it up that he is going to get a win. And I don't know, maybe it is over LA Knight.
And a lot of times too, like with wrestlers, when you lose, you win. Austin, for example, he lost the match against Brett.
Yep.
Became a megastar.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes that just has to happen.
But the Miz is already the A-lister.
Yeah, he's not a A-lister. He is not a A-lister.
Yeah, he's the megastar already. So
self-proclaimed
A-lister. Him losing, I guess, is fitting for his character because he's a heel.
He's a pompous ass kind of guy.
An asshole. He's the guy that you want to see lose. And I mean, I don't know, it's a meaningless match.
Right.
You know, not it was a distraction win and all that kind of stuff. But
Let's give LA Knight some time on pay per view, and he missed WrestleMania. It wasn't in anything, I don't think, for
yeah, I don't
WrestleMania.
think so. Anyways, good job to Kira Azawa in 6 years getting a win.
Well, he was best known for his love affair with, was it Tamina?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Alright.
All right. So what else do we got coming up here? We got
So Cena is coming back. They announced
oh yeah, I saw that
for this India show.
yeah, and it's
'cause-
gonna be a non-televised match.
Oh, it's non-televised. I didn't see that part.
I just saw it. It's like something Superstar Spectacular or something. It's
Superstar
called.
Spectacle.
Yeah, and it says not gonna be.
It's not even going to be
not
a
on
Peacock.
Peacock. Not on any service.
Wow, I didn't
I
see
just
that
saw
part.
that.
That makes no sense. I don't know what's going on with that.
So I don't know what their deal is going to be with having him come back at an event like that. That's not going to
Yeah,
be
because usually they
televised.
televise all the India shows.
Yeah, I just saw that somewhere. I'll have to find it again.
And then while you're searching for that, like we said earlier in the show, Edge probably had his last match in WWE,
Mhm.
last match in Toronto against Sheamus, a friend of his or whatever. Or he said like, oh, he was like one of the guys to get him back in shape and stuff.
Yep.
Which is partially true, but what's more accurate was it was FTR that got him back in. He was training with Cash Wheeler and Dax, getting back in shape, and he actually had a contract offer from Tony Khan for AEW to come wrestle there, get cleared by their doctors. And he let WWE know, and they're like, "We'll get you cleared and back in the ring." So then he stayed, got his contract fulfilled, which I want to say his last year wasn't really anything when you think about it. He had a few matches with Finn Balor that were kind of cut short because Balor got injured and it wasn't a great match. So I really see him when his contract is up. I think he said on the radio is end of September is when it's up, or maybe September 1st. But if it was this past week where his contract is up, I could see him being one of those surprise entrants at All In. And finally having his last match against Christian, because they've always said that they want to have their final match together. So I think Christian signed for another year or two with AEW.
So I can't find this anywhere else, but that's what I just saw a post not that long ago. So that's in India, and that's on September 1st.
Oh, that's on the 1st?
Yeah, so it's
I thought that was the
16-time world champion John Cena is making his return to SmackDown on September 1st.
Yeah.
And he'll be at WWE Superstar Spectacular on the 8th. So the following weekend after Payback, we'll have the Superstar Spectacular happen. Anyways, I don't know what John Cena is going to do.
I bet it'll probably be a feud with Grayson Waller. Because he did that at their pay-per-view in England a month ago.
Yeah, that's right.
He came out and they kind of had like a little friction.
You ever see any of the Ernest movies?
Oh, I loved those when I was a kid.
You see, I've seen John Cena next to an Ernest picture, and they're like,
Right.
John Cena slowly turning into Ernest. His face.
And then you won't be able to see him.
I'll have to see John Cena, Ernest. Anyways, it's especially, I don't know, like he's getting a little droopy. Like he's still got his big upper body, but he's got like a bald spot in the back here and stuff. He's definitely like kind of weird.
When you stop taking hymns for that hair.
Stop taking hymns. Look at
that. I know, right?
Right?
It's so true.
Did you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But I mean that
Yeah, you're correct, Tim.
So when you take a look at those guys, how many hours? I mean, that's why Rock would be the same way if he didn't have the regiment that he has.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, he stepped out of the gym.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you take a look at basketball players; they all balloon up.
Yeah.
You know, they stop working out, and they're like, "Well, whoop." You know?
Yeah.
But
Oh, so yeah, a lot of the old like the 80s steroid wrestlers. You look at them now, the ones that are still alive. It's like,
yeah,
like Paul Orndorff before he
their
passed
skins
away.
they look like saddlebags.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so obviously he's not on the same regiment. That's what I'm going to say. He's not on the same regiment.
Yep.
As he had been for years.
Yeah.
And
He's probably needed for his movie roles because he's been like a dad and stuff in like some of these movies. They're probably like, you know, to be a believable dad, you probably don't, you know, not a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
your
forearms
cases.
don't need to be 12 inches.
Your veins don't need to be sticking out of your arms like that, you know. So it's probably what has happened there.
So the latest reports indicate the answer is it will not be on Peacock. Instead, the show will air locally via their Sony Sports Network,
No Peacock.
their partner in India, which will also feature Veer Mahan and Jinder Mahal. So
That's
There you go.
interesting.
Yeah, nice.
Interesting.
So if we can't see Cena.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll see him on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
John's not here. His seat's taken. Thanks.
He's
John.
between Brett and Hogan over
He's
there.
over there standing. Thanks, John. You're deflating, nonetheless. So good stuff. Hey, just a quick shout out before this is over to our good friend SG3. Lost his grandpa. We've been thinking about you, praying for you and your family. Tough thing to go through. So just know that from the Let Me Tell You Something crew and from 216 Creator Studios, we got your back. So just wanted to throw that out there too. So tough time.
Just sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. Tomorrow morning, we've got some good shows, right? We've got two bald guys and a microphone talking about how milestones happen by accident. So if you're setting goals, people say set milestones, little goals or whatever, but those happen by accident. And then, of course, we've got Metaphysical Meanderings with Lana Duncan Hartgraves. If you want to know what a psychic meander is about, tune in and buckle up for that ride, right?
And
I got to look up meanders. It's meanders with an M or an N?
Meanders.
Yeah. Okay, not like Neanderthal.
Not Neanderthal. Meanders.
Yeah, meanders. All right, I got to look that up.
so before we end our
Be the
show,
word of the day tomorrow for me.
I have something special for my co-host.
Oh,
to open it up.
It's gonna be like a old school, like Jake the Snake. Open it up, bites me in the neck.
It was devenomized, and I let it bite me first.
What we got here? Negativity. Negativity.
I promise to vote for Seth Rollins next.
I will not cost us a championship.
That's right.
What do we got here? That's what I think it is. Hey, the Gift of Jericho ticket to see Fozzy.
Not only a
here
ticket.
at the Vixen. We got here. Hey, it's the VIP
Package.
package. Signed autograph. You can bring 2 items to get signed. Awesome. Negativity. You don't care if I read this, do you?
That's up to you.
All right. Thank you for being a great partner, supporter, the referrals, and most importantly, a true friend. You're awesome, dude, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you and your family the last couple of years. You'll be missed on our show, and hopefully the interest of wrestling will come back sooner than later. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. So he gave me the future endeavors. So yeah. So look, it's been really, and I might go 1 minute over.
Yeah.
But you know, I've expressed it a couple times, and I love wrestling, but it's been very hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm finding a hard time to keep my interest and have valuable things to even talk about. Like, I'm not really watching it right now. It's one of those things. It's a roller coaster ride. Sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. I don't hate it right now. And before I get to that point, I need to take a little break from here so I can keep that intact. Thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for all you do. Awesome. It's been awesome.
Yeah. I'll be back at some point, and at least in the comment section there.
There you go.
This is awesome, though. And when is this again?
October 22nd.
Oh, yeah. October 22nd, right here at the Vixen, just a couple doors down from my office on Green Street.
Right on Green Street.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for this.
So, yeah, they'll email me the tickets 48 hours. I didn't go through Ticket Faster.
Oh. Well, maybe I should hold my thanks. I've seen this story play out before. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I reached out to them and talked to them or whoever runs their Fozzy Rock page, and like, because what's weird is like when you look for the VIP package, it's like only the person that buys a ticket can be there. I'm like, well, what if I want to buy 2 tickets? Like, what can I do? And they said we're fine. So,
so with that said, too, the new fall lineup
mm,
is, let me tell you something, brother, is going to be moving to
we'll probably go Sunday nights at 8, right before the reject.
Sunday
the
at
reject.
8.
Yeah, because Kent's got like, I mean, you only come in for what, this show on Tuesday nights
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to get busy with
Sure.
basketball and
Yeah.
that's coming up
Yeah.
soon. Where Tuesday nights are just going to be a pain in the
Sunday's
butt.
gonna be
So
a
it's
good
like
day.
Sunday night, every other Sunday, I don't have my kids, so it'll be easier.
Yeah.
So feel free to come on.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
easier
go.
for me too. So,
So,
yeah, during the
jump in.
week, man, right now,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Well, and you're going to be getting into your
Wild.
busy season, too.
Right.
So that's
Yep,
right around the corner.
that's coming up for sure. Thank
That'll-
you very
that'll hit
much
you
for that. I
faster than you
appreciate
think.
it.
Listen, that's going to do it for this session here in the ring. Of course, for more wrestling and, just entertainment on the squared circle. Tune in every second and fourth. Now, Sunday, 8 p.m. Let me tell you something, brother.